Good evening, Sri Lanka, and welcome to ECHO, the Sustainable Development Idea. Adopted from the Brundtland Report of 1987, this show focuses on sustainable development initiatives undertaken by the Sri Lankan corporate sector to minimize the damage done to our natural resources while conducting work, making sure that the generations to come have the resources untouched for them. On this show today, we have a very interesting guest. I've got with me Nishanka De Silva, the founder of Zero Plastics, a social enterprise that propagates the idea that there are anti-plastic alternatives for daily use and daily life. Good evening, Nishanka.
Good evening.
Nice to have you on the show. Before we actually started the show, I had to make sure that we removed all our plastic files and the plastic phone cases, phone covers, and moved everything aside so that Nishanka would be happy enough to do the show with us.
Yes, exactly.
So Nishanka, before we start, we have a buzzword in the Sustainable Development Initiative called the 3 R's: recycle, reduce, and reuse. Now, based off of that, where is Sri Lanka positioned right now?
All right, very good question, Jonathan. I think let me first take the numbers that will be eye opener. Right, so you know how big Sri Lanka, right? Sri Lanka, very small country. But when it comes to the plastic consumption, Sri Lanka ranks world 5th position. Wow. World 5th positions which contributes most plastic in the ocean. Wow. So that's where we position as a country. So though we are a small country, we contribute a lot of plastic to the ocean.
So you're saying out of 193 countries in the world, we are number 5 when it comes to polluting the ocean with plastics.
Exactly.
Folks, that's a wake-up call.
Right. So not only that, so if you take plastic bags, within 1 minute, 1 million plastic bags are being used.
In Sri Lanka?
In Sri Lanka. And within a day, 4 million plastic bags are being sent to the ocean. 4 million per day. If you take our schools, our children use pen, right, plastic pen. Nearly 29,000 kilograms of weight of plastic sent to the ocean by our school system. Wow. Right. So according to the research done by a US organization, by 2050, world fish population will be bypassed by the plastic items in the ocean. Simply again saying, if you take the plastic item in the ocean, will be higher than the fish in the ocean. So that's the situation, right? So the other thing, nearly 1 million birds kills per year due to the plastic pollution. Wow. So that's the problem. You know, plastic is a huge problem to the ocean. If you saw the recent news article that the Navy Air Force officer said that he crossing the India to Sri Lanka ocean, he had to avoid a lot of plastics on the way, right? So that's the situation, right? The problem is our people don't have an idea about how much damage this plastic is doing to the environment. So this is the reason that I wanted to create something called Zero Plastic.
Yeah. So it's a social enterprise that highlights the damage that plastic is doing, that the damage that Sri Lankans are doing through plastic simply by disposal.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. So tell me again, Nishshanka, how does Zero Plastics work?
All right. So first thing I understood, there's a big problem in the country that nobody addressed. The second question is, take your home, Jonathan, right? So if you look into our dustbin, it is plastic. If you look into our pen holder, it is plastic. If it is a cutting board, it is plastic. So think about your household. So how many plastic items? So we people don't have any clue about what we are doing. We just go and buy plastic. So we do 2 damages to the country. Number 1, we pollute the environment with plastic items. Second, we kill local entrepreneurs. So we don't buy. Have you seen that when you pass Veveldeniya, how many people waiting with their products, customers to come and buy? But nobody there, right? That's the situation. So we don't have a proper demand for local products. Why? We used to go and buy plastic. That's the story. So I saw there are two problems in the country. We have a very small economy, Jonathan, right? Very small economy. So our people are very talented. They know how to create a dustbin from cane, right? So there are so much of products. If you go to zeroplastic.lk, you can completely convert your home to a zero plastic home. There are products. So we have products. But what has happened, our people don't have any clue about what's going on. For example, if I ask from the audience, how many people take a bags when they're going to the shopping in the weekend? How many people?
Very few.
Very few. You know, plastic water bottle. So we call pet bottle, right? Yeah, pet bottle. So you might use those bottles just for 30 minutes. You know how long it will take to degrade? Just imagine, 400 years.
Wow.
400 years. So how you can convince this damage is, can this be sustainable? So water bottle, you will use the water bottle just for 30 minutes. So it takes 400 years to degrade. So this is the problem. So why don't you take a glass bottle? So take a glass bottle, very simple, right? So this is the problem I saw. Then I wanted to initiate this zero plastic mission. But again, so I'm a single person, right? This is a massive, very overloaded area, many players there. I mean, the big players come to the plastic players. So I cannot fight myself. So then what I did, I partnered with a couple of universities. So I have now 547 volunteers. So they are the engine behind the project. So they write articles, they do interviews, they do YouTube videos, social media campaign, activation, everything is done by volunteer base. Wow. Right. The other hand, we have another team, they are hunting behind suppliers. I mean, we encourage local entrepreneurs. So why don't you come up with the product? For example, so very recently I made a campaign for a dustbin, right? Home, cane dustbin, right? Now I have nearly 200 orders within just maybe 5 days.
Wow.
Within 5 days, I have nearly 200 plus orders for the dustbin. So our people are very friendly and they conscious about the environment. The problem is they don't think it. They don't have mind to think. They don't have freedom to think. So we need to push them. Okay, look this. Don't buy plastic dustbin. Go for local products. So you are empowering local entrepreneurs. Just think, Jonathan, right? So it looks beautiful. You do and try, Jonathan. I'm telling. So if you replace your plastic item in the home, it looks really beautiful.
Of course.
It looks really beautiful, right? So you are empowering local vendors. There are so much of poor people in the country. So they don't know how to sell their products. They know how to make the product, but they don't know how to sell the product because they don't know, marketing. So they don't have a demand. That's why you see many people, I mean, the many cane products, hanging around and they are, walking in the street. So those are the two problems I addressed. Then the volunteer team take into the next level.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So the 547 large volunteer force you have are mainly focused on awareness programs and raising education levels amongst the Sri Lankan general public.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yes. So we have two projects, Jonathan. One is we call Zero Plastic University model.
Right.
So we have initiated a project called Zero Plastic University at Unveils University. So the campaign is completely putting the university into a zero plastic position.
Right.
They don't use water bottle, lunch sheets, lunch boxes and all. So now the part of the volunteer base, right, segment, they are working with the university itself, within the university. In-house students, they are doing campaign and putting particular activation events to educate, to make awareness not to use plastic within the university. So we have two projects. One is a national project completely looking after the entire country as a one, and individually we have planted a couple of projects at University of Rajarata and University of Unveils. Within the university, we are trying to make university itself zero plastic. So, for example, very recently, pen.
Yes.
Right? So, when you take the university, within the university, there are a lot of ballpoint pens, right?
Yes.
Ballpoint pens are being used.
Yeah.
So, those are end up in the landfill or in the ocean at the end. That's the story. Same time, within a university, there are a lot of papers coming out, research papers and all, right? Those are also going to the going out as a waste. So we initiate a project. We take those papers and put into a supplier free of charge, and he make pens, and all the students are going to use those pens.
Oh, wow.
Right? Those kind of activation.
So you are talking of biodegradable pens?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? So we have kind of a similar project within the Rajasthan University as well. That's the mission now I'm working on, basically. Making the awareness is the biggest problem, you know. We don't have enough money to make the campaign, so kind of a video campaign and all. So we do a lot of awareness, and the other side, volunteer-based work on the university itself and the outside the scope.
Right. I think another great alternative would be to move into a more electronic medium, where where we take the standard of education into the electronic media, where you don't have to use the likes of papers and pens, and there's no wastage on that level also.
Yes, that's the problem, Jonathan. Here, eradicating the plastic is not a problem. Problem is making the awareness.
Yes.
Our people don't have a clue about what they are doing. So you just buy a water bottle, right? You don't have any clue what's this going to happen, right? You just buy. But if you know where this is going to be ended up, then you think what I'm doing to this environment. That's the problem.
Yes.
If you have that mindset, then we can do this change. I'll give you an example. Till January, when I go to shopping every weekend, I have never taken a bag with me. Never. So I'm being honest. So till January. But when I felt this is something wrong, that I'm putting something bad into the environment, then I decided I'm going to change. So if I go to any shop, if they give a product that I can hold like this, I don't buy bags. I take it and put it in the vehicle. Right? So we need to cultivate that mindset. So don't take bags, say no bags. So if we can cultivate that mindset into the people's mind.
Move into cloth bags.
Yes.
Which can be reused over and over again.
Exactly. Or the paper bag. For example, very recently, New Year period season, I went to a fashion house. Then there were maybe 25 people behind me. They gave me a plastic bag with my clothes. Then I say, why do you give a plastic bag? Why don't you give a paper bag? And say, they don't have. Okay, then you have to inform your management, I don't want this bag. Then I got my fashion items to my hand, I put it to my vehicle. So I'm putting the message to all 25 people. So I have to be an example. So then only other people say, then the other people buy the plastic bag, then they feel it's guilty. So we need to make this mentality. So you need to speak out. When you see the people using plastic bag, you need to, show it off, that's wrong. If you do that, I'm pretty sure we can do this. Right now, I'm telling another stat, Jonathan, nearly one person annually put 5 kilogram plastic into the landfill. If you take Sri Lanka as a country, every single person annually 5 kg worth of plastic bag, plus the water bottle. Only 2 items, if you collect it together. So right now I have changed nearly 6,000 people that they are not using plastic bag and water bottle. So multiply 6,000 by 5 kg. 30,000 kilogram worth of weight of plastic is reduced by Zero Plastic Mission.
Wow.
So that's the happiness.
That's crazy. So the reason I took a little time to actually compute that was because I was doing another calculation in my head. You said one person contributes 5 kilos of plastic per year. And I'm thinking we have 23 million Sri Lankans. That works out to 120 million kilos of plastic per year. And that is an astounding fact.
So if you take another example, as a country, all Sri Lankan contribute for plastic pollution. The number is 1.56 million tons of plastic. So it's big. It's big, right? But the problem is we cannot completely eradicate plastic. That's not possible, right? But start from your home. So when you go shopping, take a bag, right? If you have a vehicle or a bag, take a water bottle, glass bottle. So then you avoid that 5 kg annually, right? So this is where we position, Jonathan. We need to make our people mind, change the mind, how they see the plastic problem. So far, I think it's really interesting. The other hand, I'm very happy that we have 80 suppliers, plastic alternative suppliers. Wow. So they do cutting board in Kitul, right? Kitul and the coconut shells. So we have many products now that can completely replace plastic product. So the vendors are very happy because they see that they have a market now. They have a demand, right? Yesterday I placed the order for a cutting board. It was 1,500. That's a problem, right? There's a problem with the price. Plastic alternative eco products are little bit pricey. I mean, high price when it's come to the local products, plastic products. Yeah. You can buy a cutting board for maybe 300 rupees. But when it's come to the wooden board, it is somewhere around 1,500. So that's where I'm working on right now. So we need to get many suppliers into the market and putting them into a competition. So you make plastic boards and the other person make the plastic cutting boards, then the competition comes in. Right. When the competition comes in, then the price goes down. Yes. So that's where I'm working on right now. I'm the volunteer team completely working with the making the awareness. So myself and the other senior person working on the SME segment to make the competition. So we are trying to introduce new vendors with the same product.
Right. Yeah. And I think basic economics is also, if you create enough of a demand, then the supply will, the landed cost of your supply will also go down because they have to keep up with that demand. Exactly. So I think that's a great initiative, Nishshanka. That's fantastic. So now that you've mentioned it a little bit, talk to me about the business model behind Zero Plastics.
All right. Every transaction happens through the website. We take 10%.
This is www.zeroplastics.lk.
Zeroplastic.lk.
Again, that's www.zeroplastic.lk.
Yeah. So how it works? We have suppliers. Even if you become a supplier, you can be. Right. So you need to put your eco-friendly product that should not have any kind of plastics. Of course. So then we publish those products on our website. Anybody can come and buy those products. When a purchase happens, what will happen? System automatically send you information, the order information that somebody has placed an order for your products. Right. Then you need to deliver the product through a courier service. And the transaction happen through the website. Right. So we keep 10% reason we need to survive as a social enterprise. Right? We have our own cost. Right? We need to maintain the office and the staff and the digital marketing aspect and all. So we keep 10%. So we are the lowest charging marketplace in the country when it's come to the digital marketplace. The online e-commerce platforms. So we charge just 10%. So that's how the business model basically works. If you look into this, Jonathan, here the business model is just 25, but the social cost is 75%. So we do a huge social cost. We address to a huge social cost in the country. Think about plastic come to the industry. People buy it. You do recycling. So never ending game. People buy, you recycle. People buy, you recycling. So where this is going to be end, right? So what we do, no, you don't buy it. We need to cut off buying. We need to stop buying. So that's the business model. So we make the awareness that you don't buy plastic, or go with the alternative eco-friendly products. Right. So when they buy eco-friendly local products, that's empower the local entrepreneurs. Right. So that's the business. That's how it works.
Wow. That is actually how you can also enhance the production and the number of vendors who can bring in an alternative to plastics as well.
Yes. Answering to your question, Jonathan, there's another problem with that. So many people don't come to this industry because they don't have a market. That's the problem. Right? If you go to the Valdenia, the old generation is still doing the same thing, but they don't innovate the product. Yes. So then you don't buy it. Yes. So we are now the country is always progressing. So people looking for the modern items. So if you make a product that you cannot sell, you cannot market, so you cannot sustain. You need to design or develop a product that the people would buy. So what we do, we have another mechanism going on. Jonathan, I will share the story, the project model. So we take particular product and we look at these products in a different angle. So how we can innovate, how we can enhance this product to cater the current market. If it is a dustbin, so how much, what's the durability? So how we can, make it look beautiful to the particular positioning. So we give them innovative ideas and enhance their product to cater the current market. That's another initiative that's also handled by the volunteer team. They basically have defined set of standards. If you are making dustbin, these are the standards. You need to satisfy those standards to eligible those products to be visible on our website. So no, everybody cannot come and just sell the products on our website. It has
to be a standard.
It has to be a standard. That's the problem. For example, if you take the broom, right? What will happen? You need to have another broom to collect that
the husk from the previous.
Exactly,
broom.
Right? Why? They are selling that particular broom for just 150. They cannot sustain, so they need to make a lot of broom. Then what they do?
They shortchange on quality.
Yes, it is not up to the standard. So what we do, we encouraging them to sell the broom for 650, but you give the assurance that you can use at least this for 1 year. So we need to empower those standards. We need to cultivate this standard within the community that who develop the product. Then only we can sustain, Jonathan. What will happen otherwise? You will buy, you want to change from today. Then you will buy a plastic alternative. From the next day you understand, you see that this product is not durable. Then you are not going to buy that. Because country like Sri Lanka, our people concern two things when they do the purchasing decisions. Number one, price. Okay, number one, price. Second, the durability. So plastic satisfy these two facts. That's why our people go into the plastic item.
It's cheap and durable. Yeah.
Right. But when you come to the local eco-friendly products, that's not the case. That's expensive, and there's a question with the quality. So Zero Plastic work on that as well to empower their product quality. Yep.
That was really good. So that's all I have for you this evening in terms of questions, Nishshanka. But to you, my dear audience, I believe what this gentleman has told us today has really imprinted our hearts. So once again, to underline it, it is www.zeroplastic.lk. That's www.zeroplastic.lk. You can go onto that website and you can find plastic alternatives to everyday household goods. Invest in it and help raise up an economy, help raise up an industry that is struggling to make its footprint in the Sri Lankan economy, so that more Sri Lankans, more of our people will join in on this, on the march against plastic, so that we can reduce the pollution that we put out as a nation towards the oceans and towards landfill as well. Nishshanka, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure having you here on the show as well.
Jonathan.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Hopefully one day we can have another discussion, and next time you can tell me that Sri Lanka is slipped down to number 150 on the list of plastic pollutants in the world. Yeah, that's all we have for this week, folks. Thank you very much. See you around next week.